chairman and you had the autonomy. For me personally, I think that the one thing I'd change in my local government, if I had the absolute autonomy of directing how my local government goes, is dumping of refuse. It's very, it's a very interesting habit, and I would definitely want to change that. I don't think that I want to see trash being discarded on the road, and so yes, that's a big one that I would definitely change if I have autonomy as a local government chairman. How about you? Please tell me in the chat, what would you change if you were a local government chairman with absolute autonomy for your local government? What would you change? I'm looking at the chat and willing to read your thoughts. What would you change in your local government if you were a local government chairman and you have the autonomy to operate? What would you change in your local government? Please engage with me in the chat while we wait for others to join in. What would you change? My eyes are on the chat and I'm looking forward to seeing your comments, and so we can have conversations together. So please tell me, what would you change in your local government? Please share with me in the chat, what would you change in your local government if you were a local government chairman and then you have absolute autonomy over your local government? What is the one thing that you would implement instantly, or what's the one thing that you would change in your local government? Please share with me in the chat. But if you're willing to unmute, by all means, I would love that. So please raise your hand if you also like to speak. But if you're not willing to speak, the chat room is open. And please also confirm that you have access to the chat room and you can type in the chat what is the one thing you would change in your local government if you were to have autonomy as local government chairman today. Please, can we have people respond to us? So one of the beautiful things about conversations like this is that it involves you and I, and everything, all the changes we want to see starts from you and I. And so, please, I'd like for us to respond in the chat. If you were a local government chairman today, what is that one thing that you would change in your local government? And what is that one thing that is not existing in your local government at the moment that you would definitely implement? Please, let's see your thoughts. Let's see how well we're even positioned to welcome local government autonomy. Please, let's okay, fantastic. I see one here from Fatima. Fatima says, I would change health system, free delivery and pregnancy care. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Fatima. But I still want to hear from many others. Why would you change? What would you change in your local government? What would you implement in your local government as a local government chairman with absolute autonomy? But I also have a question for Fatima. What exactly would you change in the health system outside of the free? What do you think is not working now? That would make free delivery and pregnancy care effective when you get into power and have absolute autonomy to change that. Fatima, do you want to unmute, or would you continue to type in the chat? Please, let's see what your thoughts are. Thank you. I see the chats. I see the answers in the chat coming in. So grateful. Free education in its true sense. I like how you worded that. Absolutely. I absolutely love how you worded that. And it's not just in the free education with the word, but then in its true sense. Absolutely. Thank you. Ijo Makalu says, I'll suspend unnecessary taxation for petty traders and farmers. I'm with you. Definitely. I think we already have some interesting local government chairmen already who would shake their local government. But let's see how many more we have. Free education and skills development for out of school girls. Absolutely. That's actually very beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's keep it coming. I think I see that local government is already getting getting the energy it deserves, getting the attention it deserves from the thought that we are putting out in the chat already. So let's see more. Let's see more. Let's see more. Let's see more. More local government chairman, more local government chairman. What would you do? What would you change? What would you implement as a local government chairman with absolute autonomy? What would you change for the young people, for the older men and women, for entrepreneurs? What would you change? Where would your focus be as a local government chairman? Okay, Fatima says access to prompt health facilities. That's actually a necessity. That shouldn't be something we are crying over or begging for. That's an absolute necessity. Thank you. I totally agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. Abba says my focus will be on meaningful youth engagement. I like how you worded that, but maybe you would tell us more what would make meaningful youth engagement to you, Mr. Chairman. All right. Also have here improve peaceful coexistence between farmers and cattle wearers. Danga, thank you so much. That is not a conversation that should be ignored. Thank you. Abubakar says security and safety. Insecurity has been a major challenge in my local government. Oh dear. We apologize and sympathize with you over that. And definitely, security of land, security of property, security of humans should not be a thing we have to worry over. And so I already see that you, as local government chairman, that would be something that your people can go to bed at night happy that they are protected and they are safe. Thank you so much. Can we have two more, and then we can move on to the welcome address, the welcome remarks, and then we can kickstart our conversation in full. Chidima says youth empowerment and skill development, as well as adequate school facilities. Thank you. Thank you. I like that you're not just talking about the development, but you're also talking about the availability of adequate facilities, because it's not enough to talk about it empowerment where there are no adequate facilities. Absolutely. And can we have one more, just one more, and then we would get in. All right, so we have our final. Oh, interesting. We have two more. All right, so I'll do the honors of reading the two more, and then we'll have our welcome remarks by Ikenna. Free skills acquisition and empowerment after the training. Absolutely. And so it's beyond giving free skills acquisition. What happens after? And I like that you worded this to say that even after the free skills acquisition, there would be empowerment. So the knowledge and the skills does not go to waste. Thank you. Idris says my focus would be on major needs such as education, empowerment, and health. Absolutely. But we would also love to hear what specifically you would be looking forward to change. All right. Okay. All right, thank you so much, everyone. I'm already excited about the conversation. And as we know, the theme for today's conversation is local government autonomy and youth advocacy, building grassroots capacity for change. And I can boldly say that on this call today, we have fantastic local government chairmen who are willing, capable, and already excited to lead change in their various local government areas. So can we just agree that with all of us here, the change that we need in our different grassroots is here and it's happening? All right, now, so please welcome with me Haruna Godia as he gives us the welcome remarks and sets the tone for the conversation today. Thank you. Hello, Haruna.
Hi, Annie. Good morning. Can you hear me? Hi, Annie. Good morning, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me and also see me.
Yeah, we can see you. We can hear you. Good morning, Haruna.
Good morning. Loud and clear.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the call today. I can see a lot of messages going on in the chats. That's amazing. It shows how passionate the young people are and also all the individuals that find themselves today on this call. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. My name is Haruna Godia. I'm a programs and policy coordinator at Leap Africa. And briefly, I will just be giving a welcome remarks and also be welcoming, take out this time to also appreciate our esteemed facilitator and panelists that are on the call. We have, they are experts in their field, and they are coming today to share with us from their wealth of experience. And also all the attendees on the call, thank you so much for joining the call. It promises to be a good time for conversation about local government autonomy and also building capacity for grassroots advocacy across Nigeria. As we go into this conversation, I just have a few things to share with us. As we know, all Nigerians are from a particular local government. All of us, when we talk about Nigeria, we are all of us are originated from one local government or the other. And Section 7 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution, as amended, gives provision for the establishment of the local government, and also it shows how the local government is supposed to operate in terms of financial autonomy and as well as administration. Right from pre-colonial era, right from the time of pre-colonial era, the issue of local government administration and governance has always been there. And even after independence, and even in the current dispensation, the issue around how local government should work, how local government should run, has always been a front in the front burner, and has always been a conversation that most times involve different stakeholders across different communities. The National Assembly have always tried, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th National Assembly have tried their best to ensure that they pass, the financial autonomy of local governments. But unfortunately, it's usually challenging. However, with the pronouncement, or the Supreme Court pronouncement of 11th July 2024, about local government financial autonomy, we can see that there has always been move, and that singular act is an opportunity for the local government to begin to function in a different capacity. So today, as we go into the conversation, I want to urge each and every one of us that are on the call to have an open mind, to hear from the experts, to hear from the perspective of the local government administrator, and also to hear from the expert that will be coming from the civil society organization on how young people, how leaders, how policymakers can be able to build capacity, can be able to build the networks, the connections, so that we can be able, as young people, to lead grassroots advocacy, so that the local government autonomy will not just be a charade, rather it will be practical, because the local government is the administration, or the government, the third tier of government that is closer or closest to the people, right? If local governments are working, the state will work, and also the Nigerian state is going to work. Okay, so as we go further into this conversation today, my recommendation or my plea to all of us on the call is to listen attentively, contribute to the conversation, and through this program, make sure you build a network. Look at the people that are on the call, so that this can be the people that you'll be reaching out to, for you to lead different advocacy conversations and convenings that will lead to the actual implementation of the local government autonomy, and will benefit all Nigerians across all strata, across the 774 local governments in Nigeria. So thank you so much for joining the call. I'll be here to follow the conversation, and when it's time for questions, I urge everyone to be part of it. There will be a time for panel session, an interactive session, where we'll have our speakers also speak more to the topic. So I want to urge all of us that are on the call to contribute, so that we can, at the end of this program, have a roadmap for us to advocate for the effectiveness of our local government. Thank you so much, and looking forward to a good conversation today. Over to you, Annie.
Thank you so much, Aruna. That was such a powerful charge. And yes, we're looking forward to a good conversation today. I hope that you all are energized and charged for the conversation. All right, now, so right about now, we're going to have Dr. Chibueze come up. And Dr. Chibueze is mayor of Akuta local government, Anambra State, and he will take us on our expert session 1. Hello, Dr. Chibueze. Good morning.
Hello, good
Hello,
morning.
Doctor. Good morning. Thank
Yeah,
you so much
and yeah,
for
great
joining
morning.
the
Yeah, all good.
conversation today.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, yeah, I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you to Haruna for the invite, and all thanks to Leap Africa for the wonderful thing you guys are doing. It's quite a very amazing conversation we're having here this morning. Local government autonomy discourse has been quite one that has occupied the social space in Nigeria, I mean, since 2024 till today. So it's quite amazing that Leap Africa is organizing this expert session for the conversation. So I'm happy to be here. Yeah, by way of introduction, my name is Dr. Chibueze Ofobike, and I'm serving as the mayor of Algoata local government area in Anambra State. That's one of the 21 local government areas in Anambra State. And I'm also serving as the chairman of ALGON. ALGON is the Association for Local Governments in Nigeria. Yeah, Anambra State chapter. So I don't know how this conversation will flow. Am I supposed to be asked questions, or I should just share my thoughts, and then at the end there will be questions? And yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Please share your thoughts, and at the end, we'll ask you questions, and then we can take off from there.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think Haruna has provided us with a very solid foundation for this conversation. I mean, by first giving us some historical background of issues concerning local government autonomy, local government system, even from the pre-colonial times till date. So, I mean, it's also quite instructive to emphasize his assertion that every Nigerian belongs to a particular local government area. And so this issue is one that concerns indeed every Nigerian. No one is exempted. More so in the light of the fact that local government plays a very important role in the development of the grassroots. And we all, I mean, you will agree with me that we all belong to the grassroots. So we are all aware, I want to believe, of the Supreme Court ruling of last year, July 11th, 2024 precisely, that mandated states to conduct elections and by implication, the funding for the local government should be paid directly to the local government of the 774 local governments in Nigeria, right? So, and that has sparked a whole lot of debates on the possibility of that being happening, on the how well positioned are state governors uh, ready to excuse me, sorry, how well positioned state governors are ready to comply with that judgment, and I mean issues concerning the practicability of the entire of that judgment and such. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah,
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So the issue is one that has been raging, just like I said before, and uh, the conversation has been on since that judgment to date. All states in the federation, I think, have conducted the election. But that begs the big question: what happens afterwards? Has the conduct of elections in all the states of the federation translated to proper local government autonomy? And you will agree with me that when we discuss local government autonomy, we are just, talking about financial autonomy, because that is the real autonomy, which is much more, would I say, important than even administrative autonomy or personal autonomy and all that has to do with the local government system, right? Yeah. So the issue currently is that we don't have 100% autonomy. That is the fact. And I'm speaking authoritatively as someone who is in the system. And I don't think there is any part of Nigeria where you can find that 100% autonomy that Nigerians are yearning for. And that begs for another question: why and what should be done, right? Yeah, so it's a multifaceted issue. Some part of the blame goes to the federal government, who I believe didn't do proper consultation and proper checks very well, even before that judgment was given. Because even as we speak, the federal government has also failed to abide by the, the wordings and the spirit of that judgment. Giving rooms for the state government to would I say, still play a major role in the financial administration of local governments in Nigeria. And part of the blames that should go to the federal government of Nigeria is such that there were some gray areas that weren't strengthened. I'm speaking my own opinion now. So there are some gray areas I believe that weren't really properly strengthened, and that will really impede on how much effective and efficient the entire autonomy question will be addressed. For example, how do we ensure that the 774 local government chairmen we have in Nigeria will properly use that funds? And did we ask the question about, the period between 1999 to 2002, when we had the first set of elected local government chairmen in under the Fourth Republic? We had cases of strikes, actions. We had cases of maladministration, financial, unaccountability and all that. I believe the federal government failed to look at how to address those issues, which are part of the arguments from some state governors, that there is no guarantee that if you send these funds to the directly to the local government, that the mayors or the chairman, as the case may be, would use that for the best interest of their people. So that's part of the argument. And it was also argued that it's better for the fate of a people is centrally managed at the state level than decentralizing it in such a way that whereby local government A meets up to its responsibility, local government B would fail. And then what happens when we have strike actions in the states and where workers' salaries are not being paid and all that? That the blame, or I'm sharing what I believe is the thoughts of the state governors, that the blame would be on the state governors rather than on the local government mayors, as the case may be. So these are issues, that some of the issues that the federal government may have failed to look at properly before that judgment was delivered and before insisting that the funds will be paid directly to the local government. Even as we speak, that action has not been carried out by the federal government. We all know the sentiments and the emotions that judgment generated in Nigeria last year, and people were really, very much hoping to see a much more energized and empowered local government system. But as we speak, the federal government has failed to play its own part. And so the issue of local government autonomy, yeah, I'm very happy that this conversation is up and running. I think it's what we need to keep doing, emphasizing that a conversation like this continues to hold, that people need to talk about it, the awareness needs to be created, that the federal government needs to play its part on looking at the areas of the gray areas that needs to be strengthened. how do we ensure that there is no interference by the states? And how do we ensure that when these funds get to the local government, that they'll be used effectively and efficiently for the development of the grassroots? So I think it's more or less a top bottom approach kind of stuff that needs to be taken care of by the federal government in terms of the relationship between the state governments and the local government systems we have in Nigeria. And again, there is also this aspect of the conversation that has to do with issues concerning joint services, issues concerning unified local government system. I can try to simplify that. For example, in a state like Anambra, where I come from, we practice what we call unified local government system, and I think that also applies to most states of the federation, whereby the pool the pool of a staff of a local government doesn't necessarily mean that those workers in that local government are from that local government, whereby a local government that has more facilities in terms of education, schools, in terms of healthcare, primary healthcare centers, and other spheres of activities of a local government, whereby when a particular local government has to take care of more, but because the allocation that comes in may not be enough, therefore, if there is a pool, from the pool, resources will be allocated on equal of maybe on the basis of need, the basis of fairness and all that, just to ensure that there is even development across the local governments in the states. So that's also another part of the conversation, another part of the argument from the part of the state governors, arguing why there should be some sort of control, some sort of interference by the state governors on this particular issue of autonomy or financial autonomy, as it were. So the argument is that yes, we need financial autonomy in our local government system in Nigeria. However, there should be solid conversation, solid research on how this will work. With what the federal government has done from July 11th, that judgment, there was also an interministerial committee set up by the president to look at how the autonomy thing should be enforced. There were a series of policies that if a particular state doesn't conduct the election, that within 3 months, the allocation of such that should go to the local government in such states will be stopped, and a whole lot of other federal government backed policies that should ordinarily ensure that the money meant for local governments are sent directly. But like I said before, as we speak, that has not been done. And then it begs the question, why the judgment? Why the reactions, that the judgment engineered? But generally and summarily, as I said before, the importance of this conversation is just to ensure that the right pressure is being applied in certain places, and that our government, both at the federal and at the state level, there is need for them to sit down, have some solid roundtable conversation on how this system will work. The fundamental point is that a local government that is financially autonomous is much more positioned to drive development than what we have today. I mean, I can say that for free. Yeah, so, however, how it will work and how it should be positioned are the conversations that we must have, that the government of the day must have if we want to get it right. I can tell you, as it is today, there is every chance that if we practice, 100% autonomous system of local government administration in Nigeria, there is most likely to be crisis in different places, such that we experienced from 1999 to 2003, right? So the question is, have we set up policies and institutions that will prevent such crisis from coming up? There were cases where local government chairmen were buying SUVs and exotic vehicles for even the federal institutions like the police, like the army, and all that. And then you begin to wonder, a certain amount of money was sent to be used for the development of the grassroots, and such money were being diverted, to service a federal government institution. So the question is, do we have platforms in place that will prevent that from repeating itself again? And my answer is no. So I could agree with some state governors who are somewhat concerned about the capacity of the local government, chairmen across the 774 local government areas we have in Nigeria to use the money that is supposed to be sent to them for the best interest of their local government effectively and efficiently. However, that doesn't necessarily justify the reason why we shouldn't have financial autonomy of our local government systems. So my own personal thoughts on this issue is that the government should, first of all, take care of the fundamentals. And the fundamentals here is that there should be institutions that will ensure proper check. Yes, we have the councillors, but do they have the capacity? How do the councillors emerge? If at the end of the day, the councillors are still largely members of the ruling party in a state, I mean, you can agree with me that would be just on paper. Their strength will just be on paper. So there must be institutions in place that should provide adequate check on the local government chairman, such that when they receive when there is total freedom, so to say, when there is total autonomy, there must be proper utilization of that fund for the best interest of the local government. So that's how how my conversation and my thoughts about this will be presented at this point. So when I get questions and comments, I will then share some more thoughts on this. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It was such an insightful conversation. And one of the things that jumped out at me when you were speaking was that local governments, federal government has a key role to play in looking for the gray areas, strengthening them, and calling for accountability of the local government. And that's very beautifully put together. Thank you so much, sir. Please stay with us and we'll come back in a moment to take some questions and we'll continue the conversation. But then before we get into our expert session too, when Mr. Chairman was speaking, he kept mentioning a particular number over and over again. Let's see how many people got it. How many local governments are there in Nigeria? Mr. Chairman mentioned that over 3, 4, or 5 times on the call. How many of us got it? How many local government areas are there in Nigeria? Ooh, are we sure? Are we sure? I'm saying 774. Is that correct? Are we sure about that? Do we have 774 local governments in Nigeria? Mr. Chairman, sir, please tell us if that's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you so much. A round of applause to everyone who got that right. It means that we have been paying attention and we have been listening. Please give yourself a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much. Okay, before we get into our expert session too, I would like to ask this question. Do you think Nigeria will be better if local governments have autonomy? Do you think Nigeria will be better if the local government have autonomy? You can use the chat. Please don't just say yes. Tell me why. I really want to know why. So I can see that Chike Buka Victor says yes, and Tijoke also said yes. So I'll call on Tijoke if you're able to speak now to just unmute and tell us in few minutes, few seconds, why you think that Nigeria will be better if local government have autonomy. Tijoke, are you able to speak?
Yes, I'm able to speak, Annie.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, good morning, Annie. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chijio
morning.
Kubaka, and just by way of showing off, Dr. Chibueze Afobike is the mayor representing my local government. So my mayor just spoke to us, and I'm very happy to be in this session. Now, going straight to the question, I believe, yes, Nigeria will benefit from a completely autonomous local government because administration, local government does more at the grassroots level. Local government is the arm of the government that is closest to the common man. And what is governance if not for the good of the common man? Now, the federal government has its bulk of jobs. A part of this is passed down to the state governors who still have a whole lot of things to do. But then at the local government level, if we're able to get the leadership right at the local government level and they are autonomous, now there are some things like basic education, like the primary health care, even local security can be looked into by these local government chairmen and mayors. And these do not need, if the local governments are made autonomous, the interference of the state government might not necessarily be needed. It helps to get things done quicker, faster, and then who best knows the people, if not the man from that same place? And look at what we're having with the insecurity in most communities. If you look at insecurity and the best way to tackle it, it is by the locals. Do you understand? So I feel a lot of things can be got right when local government have their autonomies, using my own local government, for example, Dr. Chibeza has done a lot in, basic education, primary health care, youth and women empowerment at the local level. I don't know how much autonomy he has, but I'm sure if you give him more, he's definitely going to do more. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really like how you concluded that if we give him more, he's definitely going to do more. Thank you so much, Ujoke. I also see here in the chat from Abubakar. Abubakar says, yes, I would say yes, if key measures will be taken to ensure accountability and transparency, which is the crux of the conversation from Mr. Chairman today. He emphasized on accountability and putting in place key measures to ensure the success of local government autonomy. Thank you so much. Chidima says, yes, it would be better if there will be adequate allocation and proper checks and balances. Absolutely. We agreed that it would be better if there are checks and there are balances. Thank you so much, everyone. Right now we'll go into our expert session too, but if you have a question, please do not drop off the call yet. Just after the expert session too, we'll be able to take questions both for the mayor and for our next speakers, and even about the local government autonomy conversation generally. All right, now right about now, we're going to introduce our speaker too, and it's no other than Opeyemi Ademoloku, Executive Director, Enough is Enough Nigeria. Hello, Opeyemi. Please, are you on the call? Are you able to speak now? And Opeyemi will be talking to us on the topic local government autonomy and youth advocacy, building capacity for change. Local government autonomy and youth advocacy, building capacity for change. Over to you now, Nan. Okay, while we wait for our expert speaker to come off and get ready to have a conversation with us, I think we can still take one more person who would like to share why he or she thinks that Nigeria will be better if local government is given autonomy. I'm just going to look through the chat. I see Musa. Hello, Musa. I see you put here absolutely yes. So would you please unmute and tell us why you are so certain that with local government autonomy, Nigeria will be better? Hello, Musa.
All right, thank you so much, Anibet. So my take on whether I'm from Disconnect Africa Initiative, and then I would want to share my thought on why do I think the local governments will be better if they have more full autonomy. Now, but before I talk on how I think they will be more better, I think one of the key things that we have to also look at is, just like the speaker has mentioned, for the local governments to be really effective. Now we need to have credible local government chairmen or chairwomen that have capacity, that have character, that also have credibility. I think this is the foundation. Without having this foundation right, all of the autonomy will be given them might be misused. So the foundation upon which our local governments will be better is when we have leaders who have the capacity to be able to act actively in that position that they are. And with that, they'll be able to now serve their people more better, more efficiently, and then working closely with individuals, since they are more closer to the communities, to see how they can create local solutions for the local problems they are facing. So if local government chairman are given more autonomy, building on the capacity they have, I believe they would function more effectively because they are in the better position, they are closer to the people, they know what's happening, and they know the realities within their own context, and they would rise to the responsibility of seeing that their local governments thrive, that they also have more access to funding, and all of that to be able to serve their communities better. But just like other contributors have mentioned, we also need to checkmate the activities and ensuring that there's also accountability and transparency in all of the processes. So these are my thoughts. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. So I still see that we believe that local government autonomy gives the right people power to implement change in the grassroots. Thank you so much. Okay. So before we have our expert speaker to come up, I'd like to read our profile. Opeyemi Yemi currently serves as the executive director of Enough is Enough Nigeria, a non-partisan network of individuals and organizations committed to building a culture of good governance and public accountability in Nigeria through active citizenship. Enough is Enough has led or participated in the most significant protests in Nigeria in the last 15 years. For example, Enough is Enough, Occupy Nigeria, Open NANS, Bring Back Our Girls, One Voice, NSAS, and End Bad Governance. Enough is Enough's advocacy campaigns include its flagship RSVP, Register to Vote, Select Credible Candidates, Vote Not Fight, Protect Your Vote campaign, which promotes voter education and participation. It is Nigeria's longest running voter education. It is Nigeria's longest running Get Out the Vote campaign with the Select component. Enough is Enough has hosted and co-hosted the most debates of different formats in Nigeria, pioneering multilingual and multi-channels debate. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Opeyemi Yemi as our speaker. Hello, Opeyemi Yemi. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
We're fine, thank you. How are you too?
I'm doing well, thank you. Sorry, I was having some technical issues, but at least you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. That's fine. All right. Thank
Okay.
you so much. Right about now, we're looking forward to listening to you talk about local government autonomy and youth advocacy, building capacity for change.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'm quite tickled that you call yourself a mayor. I wonder how many of you, how many local government chairmen do that. I'm trying to share my screen. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, good, I can. Brilliant. 1 second. So good morning, everyone, and I hope we can have an interesting conversation on local governments. I like how the mayor has kind of set the tone for the conversation, and it's interesting. I like the fact that he assigned blame across board on why we are not where we want to be, but there's enough blame. There's enough blame to go around, if I want to use that word. Okay. Let's see if I can get this working. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Fantastic. All right. There's a lot going on, and so it has all these dots all over it, but I'm sure idea is neat. So I love this comic because, okay, so I'm gonna try not to read the chat so I'm not distracted, but please keep the comments coming, and I will try to multitask so I can engage feedback that's being provided. So I love this comic because it's by someone I really enjoy his comics, Mike Azuko. He does comics for Business Day. And I love his ability to take sort of contemporary governance type issues and make us laugh, but at the same time make us think. And this really captures a big part of the challenge with our local government in Nigeria. You have the federal government taking a big chunk. Local government is the tiny child at the back. State government is part of the local government, I guess, as they wrote it on the arm. But anyway, just saying that the federal and state get a lot more than the local government does. But we keep saying that local government is the closest tier of government to people. So a bit of context are being introduced, and this is what I hope we can get through today. I'll talk a bit about EIE Nigeria, what we do, an overview of the Nigerian government structure, case studies, 4 states and their local government issues, and then EIE's intervention vis-a-vis local governance in Nigeria. So a bit about myself beyond the work that I do, and I'm proud to show this. I grew up on the campus. Okay, well, let me not waste too much time. I grew up on the campus of the University of Ife, and I say that Ife is interesting because it's a small town. Beyond the university and the honors, there's really nothing much in the town, but it was a beautiful campus. They call OAU the most beautiful campus in Africa, and it's deservedly so. I say I am a non-practicing. My first degree was in math and economics, so non-practicing. I'm a woman of faith. I'm a nation builder, an active citizen, and I say I work in my enlightened self-interest. I believe I deserve more, and I actively go after what I believe I deserve. So EIE as an organization, the organization that I lead. So I do apologize for the black marks that you see. The top part is the bar menu, which I've tried to remove, but it's not removing. And then when people are trying to join and it pops up, it also blocks some of the text. But as has been introduced, EIE focuses on 18 to 35-year-olds, which I think the bulk of you are. And the idea is just building active citizens who understand their rights and responsibilities and choose to get involved. Now, at the core of what we do, or why we do what we do, this is our why, is that Nigerians, we think they feel voiceless, invisible, and powerless. And I particularly like this acronym because Nigerians also like to feel very important. So we also like to feel like we're VIPs. So in as much as VIP spells voiceless, invisible, powerless, it also spells very important personality, as we like to say. And if you go to an event, you will see spaces for VIPs, VVIPs, and in some places, VVIPs. But that's really at the core of what we're trying to do, that this is how a lot of Nigerians feel. And we want Nigerians to know that they do have power, that they are not invisible, that they are very visible. 200 million plus strong of us, so we shouldn't feel that we don't matter. And that we have a voice. We have a voice. We use it loudly in certain contexts. Get Nigerians in an Owambe or get Nigerians in an argument, and we are shouting and trying to make our point. But when it comes to holding government accountable, the people that we have elected, who we've given the job, who applied for the job and we gave the job to lead or serve, we get very mousy and don't speak. And this for us is best captured in this diagram. So as you look at this diagram, the way we teach it, and when we talk about the office of the citizen, we say that it's citizens that are the employers of politicians. Because if not for citizens who go out to vote, If not for citizens in a democracy, there's no politician elected or appointed that has a job. So we are the employers, they are the employees. So we should teach them, we should treat them like that. Engage, I wonder if this will work. But anyway, we should treat them like that. Engage them as people that we have employed to do a job. So if you look at this diagram that you see on your screen, if the people carrying placards on the right, if they walk off that plank, what happens? So put it in the chat. What do you think will happen? I don't see any comments. Are we here? The speaker falls off, exactly. Fall into, I even like the additional word of Gabriel, oblivion. Exactly. And now it's not to say that we want people dying, but it's just to say that this is how the dynamics of power are in a democracy. That's how a democracy is different from a monarchy, what else do we have? A military rule, any type of authoritarian rule. A democracy is different simply because the power lies with citizens. The power lies in the ability of citizens to shape what they want for their future. And that really is at the core for us, what we call the office of the citizen. So you have the office of the president, you have the office of the local government chairman, but the office of the citizen, we say, is the highest office because this is the power that we have as citizens. All right, moving right along, Nigerian government. I'm sure you guys know this very well. 3 tiers and 3 arms. So the arms, executive, legislative, judiciary, the tiers, federal, state, and local. And so for the purposes of this conversation, we're focusing on local governance. And it's important, again, in the context of how do we understand what local governance is. So there's what the Constitution says around the roles of the local government. But it's also interesting around how local governments are structured. So all 774 of them, as you guys have identified, are listed in the Constitution. And in my view, and in the view of the organization that I lead, it makes no sense. Because it takes away the liberty of the state government to determine how many local governments I need for the effective administration of my state. And that's where we had under Governor Tinubu at the time, because it was a constitutional matter, he then decided to set up what they call local government development areas, LCDAs. Obasanjo, president at the time, challenged it and said he couldn't do it, withheld his local government allocation. But it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said it can. That as long as it doesn't affect what the it's not that you're going to get any more money, because local government money is a function of your state size and the size, state size and your population. So technically, the more number of people you have, and the larger you are, the more money that's divided, federal allocation, federal, state, and then local government. So the Supreme Court said, as long as it doesn't affect, you're not going to get any more money if you create 100 more. It's still the same amount of money we're going to give you based on the one in the Constitution. So you can then share it however you want. And that's what Lagos State has then done. Then have their own internal formula about how they move money around between the LCDAs. And what happened in the Southwest at the time is that a lot of the Southwest states then went ahead and did something similar. So I think Osun has something similar. Perhaps I think Oyo has something similar as well. And I think maybe one other, maybe Ekiti. So a few of the Southwest states also decided to do that for ease of administration, quote unquote. But has it quite panned out that way? Not really. And I think the mayor alluded to that as he was apportioning blame, because the fundamental structure of state governance hold on the local governments hasn't changed. So we're going to watch a short video. I mean, you guys should know this, but we're going to watch at least as a refresher course on the role of the local government.
Hey, jeez, what is this again? These normal people, they've not come to pack this waste. For the past 2 weeks, we've been calling and calling and calling. What is going on? Who do we even hold responsible for all these minor things, community needs? I don't even understand. Look at the road. Bad. Light, street light, it's not even working. It seems like nothing is even working on this. Like I'm so tired of everything. We'll come back now and see this waste there. Hey? Now wow.
Madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You come out today again.
I'm really tired of what is going on in my. Look at it. Look at the waste. Over the past 2 weeks, they've not come here to pack it. I don't know. Who do we even owe?
Madam, every day you will come out of your house and you'll be complaining. Madam complainer.
Why would I complain?
Have you gone to report to the right authorities?
You want me to go to Asorok and go and report? What are you saying?
Look at that. Asorok. You don't know your local government officials. You've not heard. You don't know that the local government is responsible for waste management.
Local government.
Or that the local government has a part to play in ensuring that these roads are good. You don't know.
So I'll just walk up to my local government and go and complain. Is that it?
Yes, that is it. In fact, we've made it easier for you so that you will stop complaining every day.
Okay.
We started a project at EI Nigeria. It's called My LGA. My LGA.
Oh.
Do you know what it means? It means that we want the local government to be more responsive to the needs of the community so that people can stop complaining, and to help them bridge the communication gap, we've set up Office of the Citizen Help Desk. These desk offices, they are desk officers that are there to collect challenges in the community.
Hello, Miss Yemi. You are muted if you're speaking, please.
Oh, sorry, I'd muted because of the video. My apologies. Okay, sorry. I was saying that yeah, that I'll talk a bit more as it ends, how the video ends. I'll talk a bit more about that at the end. So the mayor has spoken about the importance of local governance, so I won't spend too much time on that. And so we're going to go into case studies now, the 4 states that I mentioned at the beginning, before we then talk about how we can engage. So number 1, case study number 1, Lagos. Again, we'll watch a short video that kind of highlights the issues.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I am coming to just really talk about how I'm feeling about these local government elections that are happening in Lagos State tomorrow, July 12th. The organization that I work with, Enough is Enough Nigeria, we have been engaging LASIEC. LASIEC is the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission. That's the body responsible for conducting the elections tomorrow. And so we've been engaging them for the past couple of months about different issues with the local government elections. And one thing that was really important, honestly, was that people are aware of the process and the candidates that are running for the elections. And I think that I'm really making this video because for the past 2 or 3 days, I've been ruminating the Channels TV interview that was granted by the LASEC chairman to talk about the readiness of the commission for the elections. I really looked forward to that interview because I was hoping that it would give some explanation to the entire process, which has really not been clear. But then the LASEC chairman comes up to say that the commission is very ready for the elections, and I'm left wondering and asking how. How is the commission very ready for the elections when from the beginning the entire process has been very rushed? And then she talks about stakeholders engagement. Stakeholders engagement, who are the stakeholders that we are engaging? When political parties under the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, have been complaining that electoral guidelines have been communicated without proper consultations. So who are we consulting? Then we have CSOs where my organization would fall under, are complaining about how that LASEC is unwilling to share proper information about the elections, the processes and stuff like that. So who are the stakeholders that we are engaging, honestly? That's on one side. The next one is public awareness about the elections and voters' education, because LASEC is also responsible for doing that. And then she goes on to say that they have been educating people at Unilag and across senatorial districts. And that if we check out BRTs and DAFOs and Maroas, that they all have voter education comms. How? It seems like at this point, maybe I'm living in Cairo, because from that Tuesday evening till today, I have passed at least 10 BRTs, and I have not seen one voters education comms. I have passed multiple downfall buses and keke maruwas, and they don't have voters education comms. So why? I don't understand. Like, why are we deceiving the people? Like, these things are not in existence. Then she made reference to the fact that, when she had just gotten into office, they had to take stock of what it is that they had at the local government, because they have storerooms there, which was great, and that's fantastic. But why is it that when it came to educating citizens and making them aware of the elections, we decided to do it at a senatorial level and not at the local government level for a local government elections? Did we really try to make people engaged and aware about these elections? What was even more puzzling was talking about the voting day process itself. Kimbale asked her, if they would be using technology, and then she says yes. And then when probed for, we moved from telephones to gadgets to apps and not being able to name the app that was going to be used. And I'm just wondering that what really is going on? Like, what really is going on? If from the communication of the electoral guidance and electoral process down to voting day procedures, there is no clarity. LASEC says they are ready for the elections when they only release the list of political party candidates that will be running for these elections on Tuesday, for an election that's happening on Saturday, 4 days. Until now, as I'm making this video, they have still not uploaded it on their website. They've not uploaded it on their social media handles. How exactly are Lagosians supposed to know who they're coming out to vote for on Saturday? Or are we going to talk about the number of callers that call into the radio programs that we've been doing at EIE Nigeria to commend us for doing the commission's work on voters' education and sensitization? Or people that are like, oh, really, elections are happening. It's looking like a deliberate act to potentially undermine the local government elections and to ride on the voters' apathy that is already existing, so people don't pay attention to it. Don't give anybody the satisfaction of your apathy. Come out for the elections tomorrow. EIE Nigeria has, uploaded the pictures of the list that we took from LASEC's office. And I'm going to put the link somewhere on the screen. Make sure that you go there, search for your local government, search for your LCDA, since they are also doing LCDA elections. Check for it and identify the people that you're going to be voting for. Google them. You still have between today and tomorrow morning to make at least some level of an informed decision, right? We don't express our displeasure in a democracy by disengaging. We express our displeasure by consistently engaging the process, not just talking about it over a plate of amala with our friends and our families. So come out tomorrow, dust your PVCs, ensure that you're at your polling unit. Polling unit, I think, open up by 8 a.m. Ensure that you're there, you're early, you come out with a bottle of water, you are ready to vote, you're ready to stay there until your votes are counted. Don't engage in any form of quarreling, any form of violence, and just exercise.
Okay, you get the gist. Before vote elections have happened, but the idea, so Ofoma is my colleague, and the idea was that we were just concerned about the way. Now, this is, as the mayor was assigning blame, this was a very state level blame. In the way that the local government elections were being conducted, and just speaks to also this point about autonomy. How do local governments have autonomy when the state government is intentional about disenfranchising people from participating fully in the process? So Lagos local government elections were horrible. Turnout was bad because, as Ufoma was saying, we didn't even know who was contesting. So shortless of you going to look for the information wasn't readily available. So it was almost as if they didn't want Lagosians to engage in the process at all. And this data then backs up the trend of how local government elections, people just generally don't engage. I'm sorry, I'll ask my colleague, but at the end of this conversation, I would have the percentage for this past election, like overall percentage. I mean, look at it. You have in Alimosho with the highest registered voters in 2019, 1% voter turnout, where the highest is Ajeromi Felodun at 7% voter turnout. So what are we talking about? What exactly are we talking about? But overall, less than 3% of registered voters determined local government elections. She's talked about the issues of concern, and I won't bore you with all of that. So let's look at Osun State. Case study number 2. In Osun State, the local government offices are shut. They're not functional. Why? Because under the preceding governor, Oyetola of APC, they had local government elections just before he left office. The PDP took them to court. The court found throughout their case on a technicality. So APC said, well, since they've thrown out the case, then we should continue to be in office. But the successor governor, Adeleke, is PDP. He then did his own local government elections. And they're now in court. And APC federal government has now withheld allocations to Osun State. But the Osun State government is paying its own local government chairman that won based on their own election. So it's a bit of a mess. And the federal government, quite frankly, hasn't helped. Again, I really like mayors appointing of blame. So again, the federal government, because it is playing politics, federal government is APC, Osun State is PDP. Because of the politics therein, the local government structure in Osun State does not work. Third case study, River State. River State went into a state of emergency. We got a sole administrator who then decides he wants to conduct local government elections. But why? How sole administrator just manage the state, ensure that things are functioning? Why the rush to do local government elections? He did local government elections, I think, 2 weeks before his 6-month tenure ended. Cases in court that haven't been determined, but they went ahead. Civil society tried to boycott. Obviously, the governor, the federal government influenced who came forward, and they won all the local governments, I think, except one. Again, back to this challenge of autonomy. It's not just about money. And again, as Mayor said, it's also about the structure of local governance in Nigeria. And lastly, my favorite one, the fine babes of Adamawa State. Recently, news that the wives of the Adamawa State local government chairman went to Turkey for training. Somebody please help me understand. Why? Oh, why? Anybody you're laughing. Is it not funny? Why are Adamawa State residents paying for the wives of their local government chairman to go for training? Somebody please help me. I'm trying to understand. Because I am failing to understand why this is something that they're doing. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Yes, Zachariah, yes. So and it should be taking up, and I really hope people in Adamawa step up. Is anybody in Adamawa from Adamawa on this call? Anybody from Adamawa? Does anybody here know anybody from Adamawa? Please, if you do, tell them to reach out to us, because we really do want to engage this case, because I honestly don't understand it. I honestly really don't understand it. Adefunke is laughing. Do you understand it, Adefunke? You're laughing. I don't understand. Wives of local government to train you on what? How to carry your bag? How to carry your leg? Like, what is your job that you need training for? How to be a good wife? And then they didn't go to Abuja. They didn't go to Lagos. They went to Turkey, because obviously Esther code must Esther code. Mayor, I'm not throwing shade. I'm just stating the facts. And I'd be interested to hear what you think. What you think about this. But anyway, this is where we are. So the fact that local governments, when I put up my post on Instagram today, what I wrote, Sam Sudin, your hand is up, unmute. So can they unmute him? Is it that you know somebody in Adamawa, or you are from Adamawa yourself?
So
Go
good
ahead,
morning.
Sam Sudin.
Yes. So good morning. So I'm not from Adamawa. But then
I actually wanted to wade in on the issue and to really talk about the idea of precedents. So over time, we've actually, as a nation, because when you talk about the system thinking, what are actually the root cause of the problem? What we are seeing here is not the main problem. So we already have a lot of precedents before now. Especially now we're just looking at the local government. If you look at the Governor's Wives Forum, so such organization exists and they also go on such trips. So you talk about civil servants, you talk about this. So it's more of like, to them, it is justifiable because, and you won't be surprised that these wives of local government chairmen possibly have their own national organization. And they also feel the fact that we need to also go for this. So until we are able to start looking at which organization are institutionalized, what are the amount of money that goes into what, then we might just see this coming to bear. So maybe next we'll be seeing might be wives of counselors of wards also saying they're also going to
All right, Shamsuddin, thank you very much. Thank you. And your point is certainly well noted. In terms of the precedence of it, yeah, and you're right. I mean, I think maybe because state governors' wives have more visible roles in terms of the state, and even though they're not elected as well, both in terms of campaigning, you see them when they campaign, you see that they're actively engaging in community, they do projects. First ladies usually have pet projects that are not funded by the state, that they raise money for. Remi Tinubu just raised how many billion for her birthday because she said she doesn't want presents. People should just donate money to this account. So she's able to raise money in that way. And you're quite right about that. I think also because local government haven't been on the radar. So for the wives to suddenly show up on the radar and start with training and a foreign trip raises questions. But I think that's also a very good thing because it then forces us to begin to think about these things in the context of precedents. That do we want our local government wives also to carry on this very bad habit? Because I don't know about you, for all the local government, I mean, Lagos and Ondo that I'm familiar with, when it's campaign time, I don't see their wives doing any work. I don't see that. So maybe in other states they are, but there's no state where a governor is campaigning and you won't see the wife. So I think maybe subconsciously we get used to that. And this is why this is new and different. But it's certainly something to be checked. Because if we now have at every level that we have wives taking resources at the local government level, at the state level, then what are the resources left to serve the people? Well, thank you, Shamsuddin, for that. So we're going to watch another video. And so now we're going to talk about how, as Nigerians, young people, how we can engage. And the starting point is to even just remind ourselves again of what that looks like.
So you know President Tinubu, or the governor of your state, but you don't know your local government chairman. Wait, this is politically speaking, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the local government and why it is important for you to know your local government chairman. In Nigeria, the government is divided into 3 tiers: the federal, the state, and the local. The local is the closest to us as citizens and is responsible for delivering services right where we live. Each state is divided into different local government areas. For example, in Lagos, there are about 20 different local government areas. Each local government area is then divided into smaller communities called wards, and each community is represented by the ward councillor. So the ward councillor delivers the needs and the issues of that particular community to the local government chairman and ensures that it is addressed. For example, one of the largest local government area in Lagos is the Alimosho local government, and it's broken down into different wards, like Ward 1, which consists of parts of Egbeda. So the ward councillor for Egbeda delivers the issues of the Egbeda community, Egbeda ward, to the local government level and ensures that these needs are addressed by the local government chairman. The local government chairman oversees the whole local government area and is responsible for dispersing finances and making sure that the needs brought by the ward councillors are met. So how do you access this? Each local government has a local government secretariat, and you can walk in and find out about who your ward councillor is. And you can also attend community meetings where you can also tell them what you want done in your community. You should also be voting for your local government chairman. So when it's time for elections, come out and vote. Come out and know who your ward councillor is and your local government chairman. This is Politically Speaking. See you next week.
Okay, so I'm going to exit. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I want to show you a platform that we've created called Shine Your Eye. And it is, let's get rid of this thing. Okay, let me go here. All right, so this is what I wanted, what I thought that video was. My apologies. I thought it was a promo for Shine Your Eye. So Shine Your Eye is a platform that we've created at EIE that allows you to find out who represents you at different levels. So these are just, on each page it rotates. So you have your governor, your senator, your federal rep, your state rep, and your local government as well. Let me actually try. What's Mayor's local government again? Aguta, I think. Is that correct? Can someone put in the chat?
AGU, ATA.
AGU?
ATA,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, that's it. Aguta local government. So let's see if this works. I didn't even try it on that. All right, Aguta local government. Okay, so for those in Aguta local government, your governor is Charles Soludo, the governor of Anambra, and your local government chairman, voila, Chibweze Ufobike. Then you have your state assembly members, Aguta 2 and Aguta 1, and then your senator, Emmanuel Wachuku, and your federal house member, Ifeanyi Dominic Okafo. So for every one of you, you can go there and check. You can check using your PU number. You can check using if you know the name of the person. You can check using your state. But the idea is that for every one of us, these are the people that represent us. And you have no excuse. You need to know them. So what we have tried to do is document as much information as we can. Unfortunately, we don't have any information on Mr. Ofobike. So Chijoke, since he's your local government chairman, you will help us fill that up. Let's see what we have for Charles Soludo. Okay, we have his date of birth, state, we have his party, Twitter, we have email, and we have Instagram. So we have some stuff for the governor. Let's see, we'll try one more. Chijoke, who's your state assembly member? Is it Ifedili or Anayo?
Anayo.
Anayo, all right. Let's see what we got for him. Okay, we don't have anything. So, Chijoke, we need your help to help us fill this out. But anyway,
yeah, it's fine. I'll do what I can.
What'd you say?
I said I will do what I can.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah. Let me go back to my slides. We'll figure out where that is. I don't know what I've done with this. I need to move this thing. Okay, hold on 1 second. All right. 1 second. I'm going to go back to my slides. So yeah, so the Shine Your Eye platform is meant to help make it easier for citizens to understand who represents them. And then lastly, wanted to just share what we are doing to also make that easier at the local government level. All right. So EIE has this project called My LGA. And in addition to the Shine Your Eye platform, which I've shared, we've are also working in 6 states, and we've gotten permission from 27 out of the road is long, out of 774 local governments, to set up what we call the Office of the Citizen Help Desk. And the idea is that if you have a challenge and you go to your local government, instead of being tossed from one office to the other, if it's water, road, whatever it is, that there's one point of contact, and it's who we call the help desk officer. He's an employee of the local government, but he's set aside particularly to be the interface with the constituency. So instead of going from one office to the other, you just go to this one person, tell them your problem. And because they know how the local government works, they can help facilitate a solution. And we have had 2 success stories from Nasarawa where we have the desk active. One is a missing boy that was found because it was reported at the OOTC help desk. And the second is a community, an IDP camp that didn't have water. They complained to the local government chairman, and he commissioned a borehole to be dug. And that was the first time they'd had running water in the IDP camp. So we have a few success stories. And my colleague Deji has actually shared the website, mylg.ng, on in the chat as well. So 2 things I want to end with, we've talked about local government generally, but there are certain challenges regarding this issue of autonomy. And I like what Mayor said, that it's not just about financial autonomy, it's also structural autonomy. And Algon, in addition to federal government blame, state government blame, Algon also has quite a bit of the blame in this matter as well. Because in the last 2 assemblies, they've tried to modify the constitution to give local government autonomy, but it will always die at the state level because local government chairmen would not lobby so that their states will pass it because they are quiet. Again, because the state controls the local government structure in such a way that if you want, in a sense, it's almost as if you want to keep your seat, you keep quiet. And so local government chairmen need to decide what it is they really want. Do they want that autonomy, or do they want to continue to be what's the English word I'm looking for? To play ball with the state government. Number 2, this idea of the federal government determining local governments, it's such an aberration because local governments have no business being in the constitution. So for every constitutional amendment that we do and we want to add more local government, we have to amend the constitution. So we do 774 and then we become 800 and then it will become 850. So what end? What's the point? And then lastly, this issue of money. Now, our view at EIE Nigeria is that the Supreme Court tried to amend the constitution to the back end. The constitution is very clear. There shall be a state joint account. Simple. To now say that local governments will receive their monies directly changes that. And it's also part of why the federal government has not implemented the judgment, which is, it's a judgment, you should implement it. But again, as Mayor said, when they realized they didn't consult properly and they were going to have problems, they now kept quiet and didn't implement it. I know some states that it is the state government that supports the local government in terms of money. Like if the local government got their money directly, they will not have enough to pay staff, much less do anything else. So they get money from the state government purse as well. So local government in its rush to control local government, the federal government in its rush to control local governments didn't consult properly, and that's a major issue. But one good thing that has happened with that judgment is that it forced states to run local government elections, because the judgment said that if you don't have democratically elected local governments, you will not get money. And so at least that got, I think, if I remember the numbers, between that judgment and November last year, there were like 19 local government elections because states were not doing it. They were taking their time before. But when their money was now on the line, they swiftly moved ahead. So on that note, I'll leave the rest to when we have questions. And I like this quote to end by Pat Utomi. For democracy to work, the people must be empowered to participate in the process, and the process must be transparent, credible, and free from manipulation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Yemi. That was such a rich session. Please, can we have a round of applause? A round of applause for Miss Yemi. I totally enjoyed that session. It was very insightful. Too many takeaways. But my question for you is: do you know your local government chairman? Apart from Chijoke, whose local government mayor is here, do you know your local government chairman? If you know your local government chairman, please tell us in the chat the name of your local government and your chairman's name. Do you know your local government chairman? Please tell us the name of your local government and your local government chairman's name. Can we see how many Nigerians know their local government chairman by names? And thank you so much, Miss Yemi, and the Enough is Enough Nigeria. Thank you for that very beautiful platform. That is one of the most exciting things I've seen today. I was so happy when we typed in and then it brought out details of the local governments. I'm so proud of the work that you do. And okay, I see one here. Okay, Yusuf Babayo is your local government and you're from all right. So I see that a lot of people, some people know the local government chairman, but I have just two responses. I would like to see more. Please keep your questions, keep your answers coming in the chat while we take questions now. Once again, would like to bring up Mayor. Please confirm that you're still with us, sir.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you.
All right.
And
Thank you. Thank you
again.
so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Yemi and Dr. Chibueze. We're very glad that you joined the conversation today and you shared such deep knowledge with us. We appreciate your time so very much. So now I'm just going to ask some questions from my end, and then I'll throw open the questions to our participants as well, and so they can ask any question at all. I think I'd seen Sarah Ake in the chat who mentioned she had a question. We'll come to that, and she'll be able to ask her question shortly. To Dr. Chibueze, as a youth in local government leadership, what unique challenges and opportunities do you face that maybe your older colleagues do not or might not?
Well, thank you for that question, and thank you, Amy, for that quite insightful conversation from your end. Thank you very much. Yeah, being a young person in government and occupying the position that I do, I think I would say that it comes with its own challenges and prospects, right? Yeah. So, and the part of challenges, yeah, my emergence, I would say, defied the norm in what I would call the Nigerian political space, where you find very much older persons occupying such positions. I mean, I think as at the time I was first appointed as a transition committee chairman, that I should be the youngest ever in the history of Nigeria, as I was told, right? Yeah, so that was quite a huge one for myself and for my local government. I mean, owing to the fact that I also come from a quite thriving local government area. Yeah, very standard. So yeah, so it comes with its own challenges. The expectations were quite very high from people. A lot of people were expecting to see what this guy has to offer as against what they have been used to over the years, right? Yeah, so I had that challenge of trying to meet up with people's expectations and all that. I also had that challenge with commanding respect from people, from the stakeholders, relevant stakeholders in the local government and all that. But I think I managed to handle all those by first making my vision very clear to people and then pursuing those vision regardless of the challenges of having limited access to funds and all that. So I had to make our people to buy into my vision because I realized that for us to make impact, we must ensure that it's a people-driven administration. So we ensure that people buy into our agenda. We had to get a whole lot of stakeholders involved, run a very transparent and open system. Whatever we get from the government, whatever we get from the people. Oh, sorry. So we try to. I just hope that's clearer now. We try to ensure that people get very much involved in the things we do, People had to buy into the projects. We defined our spheres of interest to have to do across 6 areas of education, healthcare, agriculture, youth empowerment, sports development, and social infrastructure. So we have 20 wards here, 14 communities. Across the 20 wards, 14 communities, we try to do quite, some interventions for our people. So within 1 year in office, a lot of people bought into the project, and you could see the social support was quite amazing. People were even supporting the things we do financially. People were giving in their time and their energy to a lot of activities that we do in terms of projects and programs. Yeah, so that's the challenge that I faced in office. But I think there is more to come from younger people in government. That's from my own observation. Because first of all, is that this job that we do here requires a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of energy. So at all points, you must be very much better placed to multitask, handle the pressure from office, and then the pressure from family and all that. So I could believe, and I mean, that said, there's also this issue about being current with modern realities. The things the people need, the what goes on in other parts of the country, in other parts of the world. You must have to be abreast with that for you to make impact. Because I mean, what you don't experience and what you don't see, you wouldn't be able to provide, right? Yeah. So I would want to use this platform to make stronger case for younger people getting platforms to serve in the government. There's so much more that we have to offer, using the energy of the youth, and then the sharpness of the brain of a young person. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chibueze, and well done to you for all the amazing things you do for your people. Hello, Miss Yemi. Thank you again for that wonderful session. Excuse me. My question to you is: Enough is Enough Nigeria has led civic advocacy campaigns for over a decade. What tested strategies can be applied to mobilize citizens and sustain momentum for local government reforms?
Say that again. I didn't understand the question.
Okay, so I said that Enough is Enough Nigeria has led civic advocacy campaigns for over a decade. What tested strategies can be applied to mobilize citizens and sustain momentum for local government reform?
I mean, it depends on who's mobilizing them. So I don't. Also, what's the context for mobilizing citizens? Who's mobilizing LEAP? Who's mobilizing the politician, individuals? Who's the mobilizer?
The mobilizer here is Enough is Enough Nigeria.
Enough is Enough Nigeria
civic,
is not mobilizing. Because I just find the question funny that you're asking me what strategies should be, because I don't understand the question. Sorry. That's why I'm trying to get detail of who is it targeting. Are you asking what Enough is doing, or are you asking for tips for those who are on the call? Like what are you trying to get at?
Okay, so what we're trying to get at is how we can get mobilizing organizations to have some strategies that they can use to drive and to sustain the momentum of local government for a change.
Okay, so context number one, constitutional reform has passed the federal level. So by the process, it will now come to the state level. So state houses of assemblies now have to vote on what is in the constitution or what is being proposed as amendment. So that's 36 states, number one. Number two, unfortunately, Nigeria just doesn't have the resources, not the bandwidth to do that level of mobilization. So what strategy will have been important or useful is the resources to mobilize across states so people understand what the issues are and what they need to be voting for at this point in time. So I just don't want to do a theoretical story because we're unable to do anything, unfortunately.
Okay, all right, thank you. So my next question will be, how do we ensure that advocacy around local government autonomy resonates with ordinary Nigerians, not just policy actors? So how do we make sure that the everyday person on the street understands local government autonomy?
So my focus will not be autonomy, to be honest. It's just with the fact that you have a local government. You have a local government whose responsibilities are primary healthcare, primary education, your gutter, your markets, your cemeteries, your street lights. There are certain roads that are local government roads. So the focus will be on the role of the local government. And the same way you have agency shouting at the president, the same way you have agency to shout at the state governor, is the same agency you have to hold your local government chairman responsible. And one of our partners, Budget, is doing a really good job in I forgot to share. I wanted to share the platform as well, making accessible how much local governments are getting every month in terms of federal allocation. So knowing as well, so sharing that information. So your your local government gets 1 billion every month, for example. What is it doing with that money? And letting you know that you can ask questions. You just ask now that people know their local government chairman. I'm sure very few people do. So that's a starting point. Know who your chairman is. Know your way to his office. And also then start paying attention to what he's responsible for and how are they delivering on that. So for me, it's not an autonomy question. It's that you are elected to work. You have money. How are you using it?
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Yemi, and thank you so much, Dr. Chibeze. All right, the floor is now open for us to ask questions. I noticed that Sarah AK had mentioned earlier that she has questions. Sarah, are you able to speak now? Can you unmute and ask your question now?
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Udokang. Good morning, everybody. I want to, first of all, thank the speakers for their insightful presentation. I do a lot of work on the sub-national government, and I consult Shine Your Eyes website a lot. I didn't even know that it's a platform by Enough is Enough. So this is me saying thank you, Enough is Enough, for providing such a great platform where we can get information at the sub level, at the sub-national level of governance. Thank you so much, Enough is Enough. My question goes to Dr. Chibeze. Dr. Chibeze, I follow you a lot on Facebook, and I see all the work that you do, and it blows my mind because when we compare what you do as a local government chairman and you look at other local governments where things are not happening, and I begin to wonder, how is this man doing all these things? Just to put in context, I'm not from Anambra State, I'm from Abia State, but because I follow works in the local government and I know some of the local government chairmen who are doing a lot for their people. So, and most of the alibi that we get from some local governments is that they don't have enough funding. Yes, and I want to ask, I'm sure this kind of issue is not peculiar to just those local governments. To just some of these local governments, I mean, I want to believe that you also have challenges with funding since the local government autonomy is not yet 100% being implemented. So just by way of asking, and if there's any other thing that other local government chairman can learn from you, Dr. Chibeze, what other way do you source for funding all the projects that you do? Like, what other way do you source for funding and not just relying on allocation? That's my question.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that question. And let me appreciate you for your kind words and your commendations. Thank you. Yeah, so your question, I would say I receive such every now and then. And I just want to say that governance is not rocket science. But I think there are some personal attributes that has one or two things to do with shaping governance. and that personal attribute must come from the person who is occupying that position of government, and who is saddled with the responsibility to provide, responsive and responsible governance. Yeah, because when we talk about governance, we are just talking about human beings occupying a particular, position, and expected to play one or two roles for the best interest of the people. Yeah, so I think from my perspective, I think the bulk of the expectation comes from the person, right? I think a leader within the context of for a discussion as a local government, let's say executive chairman, must be selfless, because you're serving the people at the grassroots. There are so much more that you need to do, and the core of our developmental challenges, is being found at the grassroots. When you say schools are not functioning, when you say there are dilapidated buildings in schools, when our the basic primary healthcare centers are not functioning, these are found in communities that are being administered by the local government. So yeah, there is issue of funding, which, from what we have been discussing so far, it's a nationwide thing. It's not like exclusive to a particular state or some particular states, right? So, and that is that should naturally be an excuse for every local government chairman. However, I would rather want to say that with the little that you get, what do you do with it? And that's how I position my own local government. Right? It's not a personal thing. I work with some people. I have counselors, I have supervisors, I have several other stakeholders, the local government staff, the civil servants are also there. These are all stakeholders as far as the administration of the local government is concerned. So I engage them. We must see things from the perspective of service. What can we do for our people? And like I said earlier on, we tried by first of all making people buy into our projects, because I would say that before the emergence of my administration, a lot of people, including myself, don't even know what happens with the local government. With the people don't care. There is this, this feeling about, people don't really care what goes on, because there is no trust, there is no belief that the local government system can function and all that. So it took us almost 1 year to make people see that there is a system in place and that we can do it together. So I had to work so hard by engaging people, by bringing people close, especially the elites, the people that have the resources. Because I tell you, even if the local government are fully funded, in the context of what we are talking about here, I don't think it will even be enough to provide the services that are needed at the grassroots, because there are so much more that needs to be done. So I would still say that funding is still not 100% excuse why a local government system will not function, because we have the people are there. If the state government, the federal government still reach out to organizations, multinationals, private individuals for support, I don't see a reason why local government shouldn't do that. So we did our best by trying to make sure that people, buy into our vision, support us in ways that they will be proud to support if called upon again. So I would say it's safe to say that 60% of the funding, that we utilize for the things we do are gotten from private individuals, and that's a very big one for us. And we don't take their support and their belief for granted. So I believe I've answered that question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chibueze. Thank you. Please, if you have questions, kindly raise your hand so I can see and I can call you to ask your question. Next we have Akolade. Hello, Akolade. Please ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, rather. Thank you
Good
to our
morning.
speakers. Yeah. So my question is directed to myself. So I joined while the session was in COVID. So I might have missed certain context with the representing. But I did hear that you mentioned that some of the benefits of local government having accounts that is managed by the local government and the state governments I think you give an example that in some cases, we have state governments supporting the local governments to pay salaries, and that is possible because they have access to their accounts. So I just wanted to maybe get more insights on your thoughts regarding that. Would you say it is would be more preferable to maintain that structure of having local governments having their accounts that state government can also have access to it, or this other alternative that is being pushed now, like local government autonomy, where they have like direct management of their own accounts without no interference from the state governments. I don't know if that question is clear. Thank you.
It's very clear. Thank you. And I think let's go back to understand it. Mr. Chibuze, when you come back, please, I'm very curious at what age you were when you were transition committee chairman, that they said you were the youngest in the country. Quite curious. And also wanted your thought, and this is my question to you. So if 60% of your budget comes from private individuals, I think it, in a sense, supports what I've just said, in the fact that even what is allocated to the local government is not enough. Now, this is assuming that you get all your money as allocated. And also wanted to, maybe I should reframe the question. So there's money allocated to you from the federation account. There's also money that you have access to in terms of levies for markets and all sorts of other levies that are local government internally generated revenue. So if you take your budget, for example, what percentage is federal allocation? What percentage is internally generated revenue? And then what percentage is partnerships, donations from private individuals or businesses? It'll be interesting to see what that looks like. So the gentleman that asked the question, I think that's really the point. So if you think about it structurally, in my view, and I've been familiar with local governments for quite a while. My father was a professor of public administration, and he's 83 at the moment. But and I think pretty much worldwide at the time, at the height of his academic career, he would be considered one of the experts on local governance around the world. My understanding of local governments are their administrative units, not independent tiers of government. So that way, a state can decide, you know what, because of the way I want to run my state, I need 10. But because I want it to run a bit differently, somebody might say I need 50. And so they are independent and tied to the state, but not the business of the federal government. Mr. Chibueze calls himself a mayor. A mayor in any state in the United States, which is one of the places, well, there are other countries that use the title as well, has nothing to do with the federal government. It's the state, it's within the state, it's within the city. And they are the ones that decide how they want it to run and what their terms of engagement are. So the Constitution says that there should be a joint state-local government account, because the state also can give the local government money. The federal government is giving the local government money to run the affairs of the local government based on how the state thinks it works for the running of the state. So we started having the conversation about local government autonomy, because the state governments were, in a sense, stealing the money allocated to the local government. And I dare say in connivance with the local government, because the local governments, they will grumble quietly, but they went along with it because they wanted to keep because local government's chairmanship was less an election and more an appointment. And that's why state governors will come and scrap local governments and put in temporary or transition or caretaker, whatever local governments, because they chose to control that structure. And the fundamental problem, in my view, is because a lot of us just don't understand how governance works in Nigeria. So we can't make a demand of something we do not understand. At least if you're not a history or art student, you might not learn about the Constitution. You might not understand as I said earlier, that a democracy for a lot of us is about elections. So the fundamental problem of that citizens don't understand the role that they play and the power that they have allows the dysfunction of state-local government dynamics to continue, because we don't pay attention. So look at local government elections across the country. Very few people turn out because we don't care. We don't see how it affects our lives directly. And a lot of the local people running for local government chairman, because they are doing it at the mercy of the governor, don't ruffle feathers too much. So that's one part that's a structural problem. The second part is then the fact that they don't get enough money to run their affairs as it is, which is what the mayor has just confirmed. So in the money going to a state joint account, it allows the state government to augment the money so they can then run, so to speak. But it also allows them to have a bit of control, which, if they're technically administrative units, is that really a bad thing? Yes and no. They can be a good thing because you're working in partnership, but it can only be a good thing to the degree that everybody must not be part of my party if we're really interested in the good of the state. So other parties can run, they can be free and fair elections, but the nature of the way we run elections in this country it's still a journey to allow free and fair association at a political party level. And again, that goes back to citizens and, in my view, the way they engage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yemi. Makolade, I hope that answers your question. Please, if you have any further question, can you raise your hand so we'll allow you the opportunity to speak. While we are waiting for more questions, Dr. Chibeze, Ms. Yemi asked some questions. She had asked how old you were. Please, are you able to speak and respond now?
Hello? Hello?
Dr. Chibeze, please, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
Sorry, I think I lost out at some point. Can the question be repeated, please?
Sure. You said you were the youngest when you were appointed as transition committee. You said you were the youngest in the country, so I was curious what your age were. And then secondly, I wanted you to give a breakdown of your budget. So you said 60% of your budget comes from donations. So I said, if you look at your budget, how much is coming from FAC? How much is coming from your IGR? And then how much is coming from donations?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't make any effort to research on that, but that was the perception here. As at the time I was appointed, I was 30. Yeah, so yeah, I just said that in passing, not that it has any implication in the context of the conversation. Yeah, then about the my assertion on our financial strength and how we try to get our people involved. Okay, your question is how much is our budget? Is that?
I mean, you can share the figure, but I was more interested in the percentage and how it spreads, how it breaks down FAC, IGR, and donations.
Yeah,
because you had said 60% was donation, so I was quite curious about that.
On percentage basis, on our expenditure for the past 1 year, I would say that 60% comes from donations and support from people. Yes.
Okay, and so what percentage of the 40 is FAC?
Maybe 30 thereabouts. On IGR, yeah, because my local government is what I would call semi-urban. Are we even up to semi-urban? Well, so to say semi-urban. So we don't really get so much from internally generated revenue as against our counterparts from the real urban settlements and all that. Yeah. So.
Okay, thank you. So that goes back to the gentleman who asked the question. If only 30% of its budget is coming from FAC, what happens that gets covered if it goes into a state joint account is that the state is able to make up the difference. So at least personnel get paid. So at least the commissioners on finance that I'm familiar with, that's what they do. So because your FAC is not enough to even pay your salaries, the state then augments that and then whatever else. So, but if they just get their own money directly and it goes into the mayor's account, he will get 30% of his budget. Then he has to go and source the other 70% to run his local government. But if they are truly administrative units, then they, in a sense, are the responsibility of the state to ensure that it's functioning optimally as it should. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Yemi, and thank you again, Dr. Chibese. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this conversation and being so engaging. We appreciate that you spent your morning with us and you contributed to the session. So please, right about now, we're going to drop in the chat a short survey. It should take about 2 minutes to fill. Please kindly engage us and fill out the survey. Okay, to wrap up the conversation, I have two
I have
more
a question,
questions.
please. I'll be raising my hands. Hello.
Okay, I'm trying to find who is speaking. I'm sorry, I didn't see a hand raised.
This is Chisubada Emmanuel speaking, please.
Okay. All right. Please go ahead and ask your question.
My question goes to Dr. Chibeze. I really want to ask this question. I'm from Adamawa State, geared to be local government to be particular. There was a time, actually, I just want an advice from him. There was a time I went to our local government chairman to make an inquiries about the issue of the fact, the internal generated revenue, because in my local government, it's been long. I've seen a government chairman. When I asked him, he said, the
Hi, everyone. Is it just me or have we lost audio?
Yes, I lost audio. Sorry,
Hello,
network
Emmanuel. I
issue.
can see that you're speaking, but I do not hear you.
Hello, can you
Could you
hear me
please
now?
check your audio and retry?
Hello, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
It's okay. I said the other time I went to my local government chairman to make an inquiries about the allocation and so many things that comes to the local government. Then I asked him, I said, since you marched into office, I still remember 1.5 years ago, there was no single project conducted by the local government chairman. I said, what is really going on in our local government? He said, the certain amount of money given to him cannot even augment salaries, talk more of other projects. So I just want an advice. What can I do about this? Because our people really complain so bitterly about issue of project. There is no project in the local government. Even some of the culverts that got damaged, the local government cannot even do anything about it. And it is so worrisome to
Mr.
me.
Emmanuel, I'm very glad you are from Adamawa. Let's start with saying, why are they using your money to send their wives for training? Let's start with that.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't have money to fix culverts or do any project, but their
Yes.
but their wives are going to Turkey. So ask him. Go back and ask him. But that's the starting point. Ask him. If you don't have money to fix culverts, where did the money to send your wife to Turkey come from? But and the thing and the and it's very important. I mean, I said that earlier, so maybe you joined later, and I think it's a really good one. The gentleman who I think Chijoke, who made the point that they are following precedents of state governors and whatnot. Maybe the difference is also that states tend to be a lot richer than local governments. So if local governments with limited resources that don't have enough to do culverts, but have enough to send their wives to Turkey for training, then we should start asking questions. So start with that. And as a resident of that local government, what can you do is do a town hall meeting, invite him to do a town hall meeting around what are the needs of the community. Let him be transparent about the budget. I mean, it doesn't even need to be, because it's not public information how much they get. Okay, so this is how much we get as this local government. Let's sit together and work on how do we make this money work for us? What are we doing for internally generated revenue? Who are the sons of the soil of this local government that can do what Mayor is saying, where 60% of his budget is coming from donations? So who from your local government can contribute? What are important projects that we want? Who can we reach out to at the state government level? The federal government has constituency projects. Constituencies are your local government is in somebody's constituency. So can your senator or your House of Rep member, what are they doing to put projects in your local government since it's inside their constituency? So those are the ways to ensure that you have development in your local government. We're very happy to help you navigate that process. I will put my email in the chat so you can send me an email. But me, I'm very curious about asking him where did they get money to send their wives for training, if they don't have money to do projects.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Let me chip in something, please. Thank you very much for that particular answer. I'm so happy. And I am so disturbed because it always touches me because this year we had so many issues of this flooding, some of you, and even the local cannot even assist people with food. I'm so worried. I think it has been a burning call in my heart. I want to assist, but means and through which medium should I follow in order to assist? That is what
But
the
I
issue
just
is.
answered your question, Mr. Emmanuel. There's no need to repeat, so we can close this out. I've given you 4 different levels: state level, your senator, your House of Rep member, your state House of Assembly member, and your local government chairman himself, whose wife has gone to Turkey for training. Shikena.
Very much for that answer.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Mono, for your question, and thank you, Ms. Yemi, for answering. This has been such an interactive and such an insightful session. So before I hand over to my colleague for the vote of thanks, I'd like to ask if Ms. Yemi has any final thoughts. Hello, Ms. Yemi.
Thank you. I'm actually, it's absolutely made my morning that we had someone from Adamawa that I can vent to about this matter. About this Adamawa problem. It has really made my morning. So, Mr. Emmanuel, please, I've put my email there. Let's talk. This is your local government chairman. We need to have some conversations about Turkey and training. Absolutely made my morning. Thank you. But thank you, Lee, for inviting me. And thank you. I'm glad you were able to have a local government chairman on the call who is engaged and who was very honest. And that for me really helped nail that point. If 60% of your budget is coming for individuals, all this noise about let money go directly to local governments, that's really not the issue. Because even if the money went directly to them, is it enough for them to do the work they need to do? And then the structural point about local governments as administrative units. So 2 charges for everybody on this call. Number 1, go and find out who your local government chairman is. Like, no, just go, shineyoureye.org. Just go and find out who he is. Number 1. Once you now find out who he is, now decide, do I want to do anything in my local government? Is there an issue that I want to take up? Is it a road? Is it a clinic? Is it a primary school? Is it gutters? Is it street lights? Is it market? Anything that you want to do in your local government. I commit that EIE will work alongside you to help you engage your local government chairman, put pressure where there needs to be pressure, support where there needs to be, help you write, help you petition, whatever it is that you want to do. We will commit to doing that with you. And then the second thing, for those who are connected and you have information that can help us update Shine Your Eye, Deji has shared the email earlier, syeinfo@EIE Nigeria. Please send us an email. Let us know, this is wrong, this is right, we have a new number, this is the person, this is their office, whatever information you have to ensure that the website remains useful and relevant. And thank you very much, Sarah, for the feedback. It's good to know that people are using the platform and getting value from it. Thank you once again, everybody. And it's not Independence, but happy celebration, I guess I should say. Nigeria at 65. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yemi. Thank you, and happy celebration to you as well. Thank you. Can we have a round of applause for Ms. Yemi, please? Virtual round of applause, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. All right, moving on, we will have a final words and final thoughts from Dr. Chibueze. Hello, Dr. Chibueze.
Yeah, thank you so very much. It's been an engaging morning for me. I have learned so much from the questions, the comments, indeed from the presentation from Yemi, it's quite insightful. And I think I am much more energized to try to do more now that there is Shine Your Eyes and the Enough is Enough, their satellites on us. Yeah, so thank you so much for the invitation. I really enjoyed my morning, and I'm looking forward to connecting with this platform, for much more other engagements. Thank you, and God bless everyone.
Thank you, and God bless you too. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Chibeze. Thank you so much, everyone. Today has been such an insightful conversation. You have been an amazing audience, and from all of us at Deep Africa, we say thank you and thank you so much. But please don't forget that we have a survey in the chat. It is to help us do better, improve these sessions, and also find out the kind of conversations you would like to have. So please, it's about 2 minutes at most. Please help us. Can you fill the survey in the chat? Thank you so much. All right, to round this off and to give us a final closing remarks is Aruna Gudia. Hello, Aruna, over to you.
Hi, Annie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. We started in the morning, and now we are already 6 minutes past 12. But I've been following the conversations. It has been really explosive, exciting, and very insightful. Many thanks to our audacious and wonderful speakers, Miss Yemi Adamolekun and Dr. Chiboize of OBK. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the energy. Thank you for the resources that you shared with us. It has really been a good morning from my end, learning from what you've shared, a lot of new things and a lot of insights for us to work together. On behalf of Leap Africa, we want to say thank you for coming, for honoring our invitation, and for our attendees who joined the call either via email invites, and those that were that joined also on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining the call, and for those that joined on Zoom here with us, thank you. We really appreciate you. From what we've shared today, I'm sure that there is opportunity for us to actually collaborate together. I hear when Miss Yemi is talking about how how Emmanuel can reach out, or even Sarah Ake, the lady that talked about using their platform, and how other people on this call can also reach out so that we can collaboratively work together to ensure that the local government autonomy actually works for us. And also young people, leaders, CSO, civil society organizations have the capacity to advocate properly, at the local government level, so that the common man can benefit from the dividends of democracy and the dividends of effective and good governance. So from me, I would say thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing your day with us today. Nigeria at 65. We shouldn't be talking about this, but here we are talking about local government administration. But now that we've gotten the information that we need, I'm sure we'll lead that course that will help to achieve what we need to achieve for Nigeria. So thank you so much, everyone. And special thank you to all our speakers. I see also some of my colleagues are on the call from Leap Africa. Thank you so much for joining from other units. They spent time to be here with us. Thank you. And for those that joined, that followed Miss Yemi to come in, Deji, thank you. And also the other individuals that followed our mayor all the way from Aguata to join the call. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. The conversation keeps on going. The development dialogue is still there. Share with us how you want it to be. Next one is also something we will do even this year and even beyond. So thank you so much, everyone. We would like to call it a day here. But before you go, please endeavor to fill the survey that will help us to do better on this program. Thank you, and do have a good afternoon.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please don't forget to fill this survey, and you can follow us on Instagram or Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook at Deep Africa. Thank you so much, and do have a beautiful